Hey guys, I want to show you how I've been able to move a Weebly site over to WordPress and some of the things that you should be thinking about when you're doing it. There's a few things you can prep on the front end that are going to really help you on the back end when you bring in the data. So first off, what I would do is I recommend you create a folder, and in that folder I would create some subfolders and I would name them the individual pages that you have on your site. Specifically, we're looking to copy all of the images because I had a problem bringing images from another site before, and I wish I would have thought about this to begin with. Also, it may not be a bad idea to just take some screenshots of, like this is what it looked like before, so something like this, so okay, well this is what the image looked like. Although I don't think that's real important as long as you make sure that you have all of the images. So what you can do is just right click on the image and save as, and then your computer will show you all right, so we're going to go in here, so we're going to go into home. And we're just going to leave it the file name as the same. And this could be actually a little bit better just because there's no SEO that's been done on this. But I'm just going to save them as is. We can also open this up and copy the video or copy the embed code. And what you could do for that is open a text editor, file new. Can't see it, it's on the other screen, hang on. So you can put the embed code in here, and then you could just say video embed code, and I'm gonna just cold. I'm gonna leave this open for now because there might be some other things that we want to copy into this. The other thing that if you've done any schema markup, so like in the background of the site and like the footer, if there's code, this is a good time to try to grab that and make sure that you have it exactly. So you go to the source code and just click on find and schema. I don't have any schema. I don't know if you can read this here, but it's telling me I don't have any schema, so I'm not going to be too terribly worried about that. And let's just go back. So we have those two images. Now what we want to do is go to the services. On the services page, I've got this image, so I'm going to save this image as. And here we want to go back. And we want to add, just put it in here for now. We can go fix this real quick. Okay, so we're gonna call this services. So I took a screenshot of the menu. That's helpful too, because you're gonna have to rebuild the menu once you've set it up. So I have birthday parties. So we're gonna create a folder for that. So birthday parties, and in birthday parties we're going to create a new folder boys and new folder girls. It's going to make your life easier on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and finish creating a folder for each one of these, and I'll see you in just a sec. Note to speed this up, guys, so you can, what I would recommend is hover over, and if you hold Command or Control on a PC and you just open in new tabs all of these, that way you can just toggle in between and grab the photos. So somebody just visited me at the door, so I'm not quite sure where I was, but essentially, so this way I can pop in between all of these pages and simply save the image, and it'll speed things up. I'll go ahead and finish this up and I'll meet you on the other side. Hang on. Just wanted to point out one more thing too. One of the things you're going to need to think about is this address, because this is going to change when it goes to WordPress. So one of the things that could be helpful too, I just thought of, is as you're naming your folders, make sure to name them the what comes after this /. So if we're going to go Halloween would be here, which I did, and I'm going to hit that save. So now I've got that. All right. So the next step is go to Google and type in Weebly to WordPress plugin. This is what I used the last time, and they have like a how-to, and you do have to join their mailing list in order to get the download, but I think it's worth it because it makes the whole process much faster. All right, so if I can find their little tool here, hang on. See where it's at. It looks sort of like this. It's like right above this box here. So if you come down under the video and click on that, I'm opening in a new tab. And so I'm going to enter the website URL. Let me see, is it HTTP? No, okay, no, it's not, it's just HTTP. So it's going to be, just put in .bouncehouseWindermere.com, and I'll put my name in here, and I'll put my email address, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this just for a second. I'm going to put the email in. I'm going to choose the WXR version, include pages and export file, and I'm going to hit export, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So I went ahead and exported that, and then now it says download your Weebly export file. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to give me this export.xml, and I'm going to hit save. And now what we want to do is go over to where we're going to be hosting this site, and go ahead and add it to the host there. So stand by, I'll do that. Just go ahead and add this to just host. Now, I don't know if these guys are the best. I feel like some of this stuff kind of moves pretty slowly, and it's a little clunky, but I'm not sure what the best hosts. I have a love-hate relationship with hosts. So all right, so I click on that button to take me over to assign a new domain to my cPanel, and it says first select a domain that you would like to assign. Now, if you were in a standard cPanel area, just as a side note, like let's say you were over in this area, and this is kind of like the screen you see, then what you would want to do is you would want to find the add-on area, and you would want to add on a new site. Now, this particular don't ask me why, but this is not how these guys do it. They're the exception to the rule. So for instance, I could show you this here, this is another host. You would just click on add-on domains, and this is where you would assign the new domain. So if it ends up looking like this, you would just put in your newsite.com, and then you would put your document root. That's fine. And if you want to create an FTP account, if you're that advanced and you use FTP, you can do that now, or you can just leave it and just hit add domain. So I just wanted you to see that option so that you knew that was how most of the hosts work. But in any case, we can go back to this area here, and we're going to put in, let's see, use a domain, bouncehouseWindermere.com without the www. Okay, so we're going to remove that, Bounce House Windermere, although we are going to set the domain to that. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Bounce House Windermere, it's verifying domain. Now, it's not going to be able to do that just yet because I've got to actually go into wherever I have this hosted. Let me just see where I have it hosted. BounceHouse.com. All right, so it has the Namecheap. So I need to go over to Namecheap, and I need to set my domain name servers up. So let me get into my account, and then I'll show you that. Okay, awesome. So here I am. I found it in my account. I'm going to click on Manage, and this is where we're going to put in just host, whatever it was telling us, 1 and 2, the name servers. So we're going to go over here and advanced DNS. So we have these two. We're going to get rid of these because this is pointing to Weebly right now. That's the IP for Weebly. We're going to delete that record and delete this record. We just had to go back to domain once I cleared those A records, and we're gonna do custom DNS. We're gonna put this in. That's one. We need to put in 1. Make sure there's no spaces in front of it, and 2. And we'll hit the check mark to save. All right. So now this is gonna take a minute for everything to populate online. So what we're going to do, this says that it has to verify. So let's go back to domains. I'm going to add it again. All right, just had to wait a few minutes. I came back and typed it in again, and this time it says ownership verified. The name servers for the domain are currently set to these, and we're good there. So then it's got a question about let's just make sure. So choose add-on versus parked. We do want an add-on domain, which is the default. Then please specify directory. So we want to create its own directory, which is, it automatically did this, and the subdomain, which is good, and we'll assign this domain. So now that's going to go through its thinking process. I remember this took a little bit of time. And then we're going to install WordPress. Once we get the WordPress installed on the site, we're going to import that file that we just downloaded and then go through and update the pictures. Before I get too far though, there is one thing I forgot. One of the things that we want to do is get rid of these contact forms because they port in kind of weird. So I'll need to actually create a new file, which we can do that real quick. Well, let me go in and so I'm going to go into Weebly basically, so you don't have to watch me, and I'm going to go to each page in each one of these forms, and I'm just going to delete the picture above the form and the form itself. And then in WordPress, we'll use something like contact form 7 to create these forms over again. In Weebly, I'm on my home page. I'm just going to delete this, and also, what I would recommend is go ahead and move the images, drag this up above. Let's see if we can get it to, okay, good. And drag this above over here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want this all to be in one column. When I ported it over into WordPress before, it was creating a table, and then I had to go and delete the table code. So we're just going to make this all one column so we don't have to deal with that again. All right, I'm going to finish that with all of these, and then I'll see you on the other side. All of these pages, if we go back to them, you can see that they're single column pages. Now, what I want to do is go back to Google and pull up that plugin again and save that file. So I'll do that. Now let's see how we're doing on, and see if I can get back to the dashboard, and there we should see it's been added when we get to that screen. Under domains, I could see that the site was added there, so I'm going to hit create. I want to create a WordPress site, start building. I'm going to go ahead and put the name of the site, so Bounce House Windermere, and then I hit next. I don't really want all these forms, and so I gotta select Bounce House Windermere. There we go, and next. All right, so I'll give that a few minutes to load, and see you in just a sec. I can actually log into WordPress now, and from here, what I want to do is all right, so what this is telling me is that there still seems like the site doesn't know that it's now being, the domain name servers are being pointed to a new place. So we're going to have to most likely wait until everything gets updated. So I'm going to have to push pause on this. Hang on. So I'm finally, after a couple of hours here, able to log in. So let's go to the next step, which will be under import. And what we want to do is import install now for WordPress, run importer, and then we want to go grab that file. Browse, downloads. I just gotta figure out which one it was. I think it was export2.xml. Been doing other stuff in the meantime. Upload. Cool, let's do that. I'm going to create a bounce house. Actually, I want to do that just because for something I'm thinking about from an SEO perspective. Assign post to an existing. Yeah, we'll just download, submit. All right, so it says failed to import this media, blah, blah, blah. You'll notice that these were like all the pictures. So thank God we took a copy of the pictures and we have them in those folders. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but let's go over here and look at pages. Yeah, so now we have all of the pages have been created. And what we want to do is we want to go to customize and set this up to, because right now this is what it looks like. And we want our home page settings to be to a static page. We want it to be to the home page, which is this one. Publish. And then what we want to do is we want to go and create a, well, we can actually, what we can do is go ahead and start opening all of these files. Like if, let's start with the home page first. Where was it at? It was right here, this long one. It's blank. It did pull this one image in, which I'm surprised it did. It's got click to edit the custom HTML, so we can just delete that. And what we can do here is bounce house Windermere. All right. So this actually pulled the title in to the page. We don't really need that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make this home. And then we can add that image. Add media, select, and we want to go to desktop, Bounce Windermere, home, and we just really need to upload this one, and we're going to go ahead and make it full size, insert into page. So now that is in there. We're going to update that. And, you know, just keep going through this process. The final step is we want to modify the URL. Let me show you how to do that. And what we want to do for that, let's go over here to plugins, and we're going to add new. We're going to add any extension pages. We'll install that. We'll activate it as well. Then we're going to go over to, there we go. And we're going to do a .html. Update settings, options updated. And then we're going to go to pages. I want to just double check this home page. So that looks good for the permalink. And then what we want to do is go to the About. Now let's say you got to this point and you forgot. Like you're like, oh my God, I know it wasn't this, it was something else. I can't remember what the URL was. One way to quickly check on that is to look in Google's index. If I go into site colon, and then we'll do bounce windermere.com. And then what you can do is just put about, see if that about page. So yeah, we see it's about.html. So we can go back over here and we can just delete all of that about.html. That's what it's going to look like. We can update it. So now we have the right. Oh, you see how it's got HTTP and it's missing the www. So we can go to settings. And here we want to change this to www. All right, and then we're going to have to log in again. So what we can do is go back out of there. I need to go back into my Just Host account and log back in. One more thing that you need to do is you need to go back into settings and click on permalink structure and change it to custom. That way the .html URL structure works. I'll show you that in another video, and I'll put a link to it in the description. Thanks very much for watching all of this, and I will see you in another video.